1460 WVOX.
Now, live from Whitney Media, 1460 WVOX, the Greenberg Report, with Greenberg Town Supervisor Paul Feiner. You can join in the conversation at 914-636-0110. Now on 1460 WVOX, here's Greenberg Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning, I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenberg Town Supervisor, and today we have a very interesting and timely program. Many people are very, very upset at what's happening in the world and against the innocent people of the Ukraine. And with us as our special guest today are Heidi Rosen Fink, who is the president and co-founder of the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration, and Sophia Shchur from St. Michael's, the Archangel Ukrainian Catholic Church. And Sophia, I guess Hastings and Yonkers has the largest Ukrainian community.
We do have a pretty large Ukrainian community, a good mix of recent immigrants and older immigrants.
Holly, could you tell us a little bit about the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration?
Absolutely. It's very good to be with all of you this morning. The Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration has been around for a few years. We started out as an advocacy organization for immigrants all over Westchester and beyond, including the rest of the country and the world. And during the Afghan crisis, we decided to pick up our work and shift and make changes so that we could help more people. And with the Ukrainian crisis, that has expanded. We're a volunteer-led and run organization. We do have grant money from WJCI Federation of New York and the Jewish Federation of North America and the Shapiro Foundation, but we all are volunteers. Many of us have worked in resettlement. I am also a co-founder of Neighbors for Refugees in 2016. We're passionate about this work and we want to help. So with the Ukrainian crisis, we stepped up our efforts and we work directly on resettlement. I work very closely with Sophia to help the congregants and the members of her community to basically achieve and improve their lives, and we want to make sure they get the lives back that they had in Ukraine.
Are you Ukrainian yourself? Your family?
I am not. I co-founded WJCI because of the fact that we're all refugees. Our mission is very aligned with that of HIAS, which is a Jewish governmental organization that helps to resettle refugees. We believe that we do this work because we're Jews, because of the Holocaust, because of the 6 million that died. And I have a very close connection. And it was during a trip to Auschwitz in 2016 that I made an oath to myself to help anyone and never let anything like that happen again.
Great. Sophia, you don't have to be Jewish to be involved in the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration. What got you involved in this cause?
So being a part of the Ukrainian Catholic Church, being a part of the Ukrainian community in Yonkers and Westchester, we were really concerned at the start of the war, and very soon we got to know that there was going to be displaced persons at our doorstep, and we were scrambling, figuring out how to handle that. And just like an angel appeared at our door, and that was Holly, with a proposal to help us, and she opened up a lot of resources that she had available for our people.
That is great. Holly, I get a lot of your emails, and you do an awful lot. Could you tell us about some of the programs that you've been sponsoring?
Absolutely. I also want to say that it's relationships with people like Sophia and Father Kirill and the entire refugee community that have changed my life. The relationships I've made in this space over the last 7 years have been the most important that I've ever had. when we see a gap in the community as far as immigration and refugees and asylum seekers, we try to fill it. One of the biggest things we're doing right now is forming what are called welcome circles. You might have heard about the Welcome Corps. That was a program that President Biden announced that's going to formalize a program to resettle more refugees in our country. Since March of last year, we've been working very closely with HIAS on a program that they have called the Welcome Circles, which is a group of 5 to 8 individuals who agree to resettle a family for at least 6 months, find them housing, find them employment. We have gone into the community and successfully formed 8 welcome circles to date. That means that we've helped families get out of Europe, and we've helped families that are on our soil already achieve better lives.
We have to take a break.
Connect them with volunteers.
We have to take a break. When we're back, we'll learn more about some of the services that the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration provides, and some stories about some Ukrainian refugees. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes. Thanks.
WVOX. Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and the war in Ukraine is something that has shocked the world. I'm pleased in Greenburgh on East Hartsdale Avenue we still have the Ukrainian flag up, and we also have it at the Greenburgh Town Hall in solidarity of the people of Ukraine. I'm wondering, Holly, could you tell us a little bit about some of the services that you are actually offering, the people, the refugees?
Absolutely. Sophia and I have been working together since August on a monthly event that takes place on one Sunday a month after church services, where the church provides lovely warm food, and we provide speakers who talk about all the things that Ukrainians need to know about, like legal services and human rights. We have donations that we bring to to tables on the stage during that program. This weekend, we're actually having music. I am a therapist by trade, so I do believe in doing trauma-informed work. We had a gathering for children at the JCC last weekend. 30 children came together and were taught how to drum and taught how to dance and taught how to sing and enjoy life again. And we're doing that again in March with an organization called the Campfire Project. We've also been providing English tutors, career counseling, and virtually anything a Ukrainian individual needs, they can come to me. If they need pro bono legal services, we have resources for that. And because of our amazing community in Westchester, it's been so generous from all directions, all congregations of every faith, we've been able to tap into a lot of really, really warm, amazing people to help.
Great. Sophia, are there a lot of refugees from the Ukrainian war in Yonkers and Westchester now?
There are. There's. I think Holly probably has a better accounting of the numbers, but I think with our last gathering, there were about 40 families, and every month, every week, more and more are still coming. And
where do they stay? And how basically do they come to the United States? Do they have relatives here? And does most of the people say at the Ukrainian Catholic Church, they encouraging their family members to come and then they support them, or do they just hear about this by word of mouth?
So I think most of the newly arrived people are coming through the government program United for Ukraine, and some are coming in through other pathways, but I think that's the majority. So meaning that they have sponsors. Since most of our parishioners have family in Ukraine, so a lot of sponsors are family members, but that's not the case for all of them. There are other people that are sponsoring families not related.
So are they basically staying with family members?
They're staying with family members. That's the obligation if you become a sponsor is to take care of the housing.
And what about employment?
Employment is a big need, and that's one of the other nice things that Holly brings with her organization is employment counseling, and of course with employment comes the need to speak better English, and that's where the teaching English language is really helpful.
Holly, is it tough for Ukrainian refugees to get jobs here in the United States? And what are the immigration, rules and regulations? If somebody, comes over, could they immediately get a job?
Yes, the form of status that they're typically coming on is like Sophia said accurately, United for Ukraine brings a certain status for anyone fleeing a war. It gives them permission to stay here for 2 years, called a humanitarian parole. And this status is now giving Ukrainians the opportunity to work on day one of their arrival, which is a big relief for people like, us working in this space. It used to be 6 to 10 months, and now it's on day one. Which is a really, really great thing. They have a certain number called the I-94 in their passport that enables them to work. And within 3 months, they'll have a Social Security number, and they can show that to their employer. So that's huge. We do send a lot of opportunities out to the community, but we also work with a number of organizations that do this day in, day out. One is called Upwardly Global. They work with refugees who have at least 2 years of a bachelor's degree, and they help provide classes and resources to grow their skills so they can get jobs upwards of $60,000. And we're also tapped into a number of employers through all of the congregations. And generally, we do help. Our volunteers, that is one of their goals and their duties is to help them find work.
Are you finding that most of the refugees are getting work, and what type of jobs are they getting?
They absolutely are. Since the government just opened up the door for employment to occur quicker, things are starting to roll out. One of our volunteers just secured a job at an auto mechanic in northern Westchester, for example, and the number of Ukrainians that I know of are working as contractors. One man who moved here actually got a job in technology. So it really runs the gamut, and I do want to say that we work really, really closely with the State Office of New Americans, the state refugee coordinator from the governor's office. And the updated numbers of Ukrainians in Westchester are well beyond 700, maybe closer to 1,000.
That is, that is great. Sophia, so does the church have like a lot of, regular meetings with all the refugees and where they could connect with each other?
We do. We, together with Holly, we basically started this monthly group meeting. It's called Abraham's Tent, which basically Abraham's Tent is a model for hospitality. And it's also where the Jewish community and the Catholic or the Christian community find their shared roots. So that was the premise of the Abraham's Tent, and we do meet monthly. If there's someone that needs something before that time, they can contact us either through Holly or directly to the church.
Great. We have to take another break. This is a shorter break. And we'll be back with Heidi Rosen Fink, who is president and co-founder of the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration, and Sophia Shchur of St. Michael's, the Archangel Ukrainian Catholic Church. And where in Yonkers is that located?
It's on Shonard Place.
So if residents have family or friends or acquaintances who are Ukrainian, this is a great place where they could connect.
We encourage them to connect. They don't have to be Catholic or it doesn't matter what their religious affiliation is.
Is there a phone number or a website?
Yes, 914-963-0209.
Great. We'll be right back. I'm Paul Feiner, our Greenberg Town Supervisor.
Now, back to the Greenberg Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenberg Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning. I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenberg Town Supervisor, and we're talking about the crisis in the Ukraine and what the Westchester community is doing to assist. And my guests have been Heidi Rosen Fink, who is president and co-founder of the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration, and Sophia Shchur of St. Michael, the Archangel Ukrainian Catholic Church, which is located in Yonkers. And as I mentioned before, Yonkers and Hastings have one of the largest Ukrainian populations in the area. I was going to ask you, Sophia, what are the demographics of the types of people who you're helping?
They're mostly from eastern Ukraine, not only, but mostly. There are many women with children. That's many women with, in other words, their husbands were not able to accompany them because they're fighting or they're not allowed to otherwise leave. So mostly women and children, but with some families with maybe older father figure or so.
I was going to ask, how does it must be very, very stressful for somebody to be in the Ukraine with their kids and then to be reading every day about the war in Ukraine. I'm sure it must be unbearable. Is there any counseling services that you're also providing?
We make referrals to services like agencies. The Jewish Board, for example, has been terrific about providing mental health services. One of our volunteers from a group called Reset is on the line, and I'd love her to be able to tell you about the family that they've been looking after the last couple months.
Okay, let's hear from her. Good morning.
So, hi, good morning. It's Heidi Rieger. So I am part of Reset Westchester, a group that formed after the fall of Kabul. We are a consortium of churches, synagogues, and community organizations up in the northern part of the county. And last June, Holly came to us and said there was a family from Ukraine who had a sister living in Westchester who would sponsor them, family of 5, including the dog, but she couldn't really afford to support them. Would we partner with the sister? So, of course, we agreed. And this is a unique situation because the dad was able to come over with his wife and their 3 daughters, 13, 11, and 7. So we haven't had to deal with the issues of moms coming solo. And I do need to give a shout-out to the county. The amount of support that has been coming to this family and all of our families has really been overwhelming, just in terms of people opening up their hearts and minds and finances. So I need to just say that. I'm going to throw it back to you to ask me specific questions. I could go off on my own tangent, but I'm not going to.
Right. How many families have you been helping?
So that is our first Ukrainian family. I think we're in the process of bringing in another. We've resettled 4 families from Afghanistan. 2 have been successfully launched because the model is 1 year and the goal is let them fly solo. Each family is very unique.
So basically what you do is you help them for like a year, and then after that, they really don't need the services after that.
The operative word there is you hope they don't need it. Because, again, every family is different. This family from Ukraine, the dad came here and he suddenly got very sick. And every goal that they had in terms of employment and all of that got a bit derailed because he was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And I also need to say this, affordable housing in the county is our biggest challenge. It really is. It's heartbreaking that we just, it's always a struggle to try to make it work, because while we will support our family, at the end, that's not a sustainable model. And we all know the cost of living in this county. So it's really, there's a tension with that. I don't know what the answer is, but that's, so if anybody out there listening has access to, a friend, a landlord that might want to help us, please get in touch.
Have you found that? Have you found that some of the landlords, because of this is such a inspiring story, what the Ukrainian refugees are going through, that they want to help and they're giving reduced rents?
Yes, there are some, and there's also a church in the county that had a home, and this Ukrainian family is staying for almost no rent for a year.
That is.
I mean, it's an unbelievable amount of gratitude. We cannot thank them enough. But when that lease is up and it does have an end date, it begs a question. And the mom just had her fourth baby. She came over here pregnant. That's our second U.S. citizen. We had a family from Afghanistan that had a baby, but a family of 6 plus a dog, I don't need to tell you, what it takes to support a family. So those things become worrisome, but we do our best.
Great. We have a caller, Vince. Good morning, Vince.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes, I'm enjoying your show. I had a question, and I've heard different things from different people, some folks who with Catholic Charities and other refugee groups. But in terms of families who wish to take in a refugee, what kind of financial support or does the family get if you bring in a refugee into your home? How does that work?
Paul, I can speak to that. It's Holly.
Okay.
First of all, this is something that we were doing more of at the beginning of the war, allowing families into people's homes, but that is not something we no longer do. It is a safeguarding issue. We want to know that the family is also on the way to self-sufficiency. We don't want them to become codependent on anyone. So now we work with Airbnb very closely. They give 30 days to an incoming family, and while that is happening, the families that we do work with through the Welcome Circle model are basically placed into a private home setting within a month. If you are interested in resettling Ukrainian families, please contact me at info@wjci.org. We also have a lot of information on our website about Welcome Circles at wjci.org.
Oh, just one last question. When you say after a month, they can be welcomed into a home. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I will correct myself. We no longer really place families in homes that other people live in for many, many reasons, mainly safeguarding. We want to make sure that the children are safe, and it's also like an independent issue.
Well, where do they go then?
Go ahead.
If they don't have another home, where do they go?
They usually, like I said, Airbnb does have a 30-day program for incoming refugees that gives you the family or the volunteers an opportunity to find housing.
But then what happens? Do they get public assistance? Do they qualify for that?
There is public assistance. They do get benefits upon arrival in America. They get Medicaid, they get food stamps and other services. You're welcome to contact me, and I'll fill you in on all of that. And
could you give the contact, Holly, your contact information again?
info@wjci.org.
info@wjci.org.
There are other governmental benefits. There is funding. There are funding sources.
Does this apply to folks other than Ukrainian refugees?
Absolutely. You can contact me. We do not only work with Ukrainians. We work with all populations.
Great. I'm Paul Fleiner. I'm Greenberg Town Supervisor. I think you have to also say that the federal government has different rules for different immigration population. So, say people coming from the south, from Mexico or whatever, they may not have the same benefits if they don't have special authorization from the State Department. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenberg Town Supervisor.
WVOX. Now back to the Greenberg Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenberg Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner, the Greenberg Town Supervisor, and we're discussing the war in Ukraine and what Westchester is doing. Heidi Rosen Fink is the co-founder of the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration, and Sophia Shchur from St. Michael's Church in Yonkers. There, one of the questions that I had just thought of is people have short attention spans. So after the war, when the war started, everybody put flags up and they said they want to help. But now it's going on about a year. And are you finding that community support and community interest in actually helping Ukrainian refugees is still high, or are people getting distracted and moving on to different causes?
I do not feel that it's waning. I think there's still a lot of interest. The war is still blazing as we know it. It's freezing. There are housing shortages in Europe. There are job shortages in Europe. There's so much need, and people seem to really understand the time is now to step up.
Right. And Sophia, you mentioned that you've also been providing clothing, group meetings, food. Right.
We have expanded our Abraham's Tent monthly meeting to include a food pantry, clothing, houseware items, baby items. We got our parishioners and other people outside, and also through Holly's contacts, we've been able to provide a robust amount of tangible things that people need for their everyday living.
If somebody wants to get involved and make donations or get involved in the organization, how do they go about doing so?
They can definitely email me at info@wjci.org. And Paul, I don't know if we have at any time, but we do have someone from Ukraine on the line, and Kristina.
Oh, that would be fantastic. We have time. Let's take the call.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Kristina.
Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit about your situation?
Yes, sure. Hi, Sophia. Nice meeting you.
Hello.
So Sophia and the Ukrainian Catholic Church helped us a lot with providing some information and also items for our children. So our family came here in April, and we have 3 small children. And when we are able, so we always come to Catholic Church, and we participate in all this meeting and support other Ukrainian families, because more and more people coming here and they have nothing, only their clothing, and that's it. So we help with some furniture, we help with some food. Sometimes they even don't have money to buy food. So I... in church and Jewish community help a lot with all this stuff.
When did you come to the United States?
So we came in April, and before Westchester, we lived in Connecticut, in New Haven. So American family allowed us to live with them. So we've been staying with them for 5 months, and it's also Jewish family, and they have some roots from Ukraine, and so they know how Russians can behave. Like many years ago, they fled the war, and they know how difficult it was to do it. And now we do the same, and it's just awful situation.
Where in the Ukraine were you from?
We lived in Kharkiv. It's just right on the border with Russia. So our city is being bombed just every single day because it's very short distance to our city, and
And do you still have family in the Ukraine?
My mom stayed there, and she doesn't want to leave Ukraine. But all our other relatives, either in Europe or in the United States, because it's too dangerous to stay there.
What type of response have you gotten here in the United States? Are you pleased with the way you've been treated here? And could we do anything differently to make it better for Ukrainian refugees?
Could you?
I'm saying, what's the reaction you're getting from other Americans? Are they helping you? And are you generally pleased with the help that you're getting? Are there any other services that you're not getting that you think should be provided by the government or the community?
So as I mentioned, we got great help from American family already, and we've been living with them. So it's like a huge step and a huge help for us for the first time, because we are a family of 5, and and there are 3 little kids, and it's very difficult to live with us, and stay with us for a long time because it's very noisy, and all of these different things. But anyway, American people help a lot. So now there is many people just don't know how to help Ukrainians. They want to, but they don't know how. So for now, there is a program for United for Ukraine, and Americans can be a sponsor for Ukrainian families or different Ukrainian people, and they can just sign up this form on a website, on a governmental website, and they can help people this way. So, and this is a way for Ukrainian families to come here and to adjust here and fled the war and all dangerous and Russian aggression.
Great. We only have about a minute left. So, Holly, could you tell us again how people can help?
Yes, they can definitely get in touch with me via info@wjci.org. We have many needs. The one that we're working on right now, the hardest, is forming welcome circles to be able to mobilize the community to get up and help more and more families and bring them to safety.
And if somebody wants to be a sponsor, there's a 2-year commitment?
Yes, they would definitely go through the same process of forming a welcome circle. Every welcome circle has someone who agrees to sponsor the family. So that would be the same way would be to contact me at info@wjci.org.
Right. So being a sponsor is really if somebody really wants to go and do the maximum, that would be the best initiative they could take, I would think.
Yes, and can I add some information on the website where Americans can find out about this United for Ukraine program. So there is a website, welcome.us, and there are different people from Ukraine who are seeking for a sponsor. So they can find any family or a single person just to be a sponsor.
Great.
For them.
So we have to be running out of time, but this is really great, and I hope the war ends soon, and I hope that Westchester residents will continue to be supportive of the Ukrainian community. We really feel for you, and we want to be of help. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor.